Hi guys, welcome to the very first episode of your summer yoga and mobility program. My name is Darby and I'm going to be your virtual yoga instructor for the next 11 weeks. We have a really great video planned for you today. Today is just going to be a bit of an introduction to yoga. We're going to go through some of the more common postures that you're going to be seeing through the next 11 weeks. I'm going to give you a lot of detail, a lot of setup, so that we can really nail these postures and build upon them as the summer goes. But really, what you guys are here for, what I want to explain just a little bit is, what is this for? Why is yoga important? What is mobility? Why is mobility important? What mobility is, in its simplest terms, is just your ability to move. But the way we're going to look at it is your ability to move your body through different ranges of motions under varying levels of stress, meaning weight stress, like squat racks and all sorts of stuff, as well as mimicking postures that you'll be doing on the football field. So the joints that we really want to focus on this summer, our shoulders, our hips, our ankles, and the mobility of our spine. We're going to be doing this through yoga postures. Yoga has great promise in increasing athleticism and flexibility for all sorts of people. So I'm really excited to bring this to you guys this summer. Just a few tips on how to make yoga work for you if you've never practiced yoga before. I'm going to be giving you some funky cues throughout our practice, and I really advise you guys to follow them. They might be things like pushing through your fingertips and making them really strong, or rolling your shoulders up and back your spine. You might be wondering, why does it matter if my shoulders are, my fingers are, if my toes are strong? But really, all these things come together to make the yoga posture work for you the best and give you the best bang for your buck, so to speak. For today's practice, all you're going to need is a place to practice. I prefer using a yoga mat, but if you don't have one, that's not a problem at all. Just find a nice open space that you can use. You can lay a towel down if you'd like. And you're also going to need something that mimics a yoga strap. So I have a true yoga strap here, but a towel is a really great substitute, a t-shirt or a sweatshirt, just something that you can stretch overhead like this and use for a bit of shoulder flossing that we're going to be doing later. All right, that's all I have for you guys. All right, let's get into it. So we're going to begin today's practice with just some simple neck rotations. We're going to work our way down the body, warming up. So go ahead and start rotations to the right, dropping your chin down, right ear to right shoulder, working your head back, and then left ear to left shoulder. Nice and slow. And one more to the right. And reverse to the left. All right, great. Go ahead and find center. So we're gonna do a little bit of a neck stretch now. So take your right hand and place it on the left-hand side of your head and pull your head gently towards the right. Now what really makes this stretch great is if you take your left hand and point your fingertips down to the corner of your mat or your practice space and really stretch through your fingers, and you'll feel kind of a zing run up your arm and up your neck. And this is really where the stretch feels good. So hold it here and kind of play around with pushing through your fingers. You can also tilt your head up slightly or down slightly to change where you feel the stretch throughout your neck. But really we're going for a nice stretch down this back side of your neck right here. Taking a few deep breaths here. And go ahead and switch sides. So left hand to the right side of your head, gently pulling to the left, and then stretching the right arm out towards the corner of your mat until you feel that pull down the side of your neck. And then adding in any intuitive movements you want, like tilting your head up a little bit or looking down. That feels really nice for me. Great. So now that our neck is warmed up, you want to go ahead and grab your prop. So I have a yoga strap today, but a towel also works well. we're going to do something called shoulder flossing. Shoulder flossing is great for warming up before you do any functional lifts in the upper body, but we're going to use it to warm up for yoga today. So take your strap or your towel or whatever you have and give yourself a generous distance. All shoulder flossing is we're going to pull the strap tight and just move our arms up and over our head. So we should be able to do this motion all the way around our head. And if that feels too easy, just go ahead and take out some distance, walk your hands in a little bit, and try again. And we want to keep playing around with it until we find a place in our mat and our strap where it's a little bit tight, but we can still make it work. So this is kind of my point. I have a little bit of resistance, get a nice stretch across the chest, and I'm able to pull it back up and over. There you go. Go ahead and practice a couple reps here with your shoulder flossing. You can also do another variation. It's kind of an around the world variation. So start in the same position down, hands by your knees, but just take your left arm and bring that one up and around. So you still end up in this back position. And then to finish the rotation, we'll take our right arm up and over. So we're kind of moving our arms over at an angle. You can reverse it after you give it a couple. Sorry, I'm practicing in my backyard and it's the elements are turning up. It's getting a little bit windy. Some bees are checking me out, but we'll keep going. All right, you can go ahead and put your prop aside now that we've warmed up the shoulders and meet me in a tabletop position. So on our hands and knees, we're gonna warm up the spine now with a few cat-cows. So first thing you're gonna do on the inhale is you're going to drop your belly and lift your head up. This is the cow part of the posture. And then on the exhale, you're gonna flip-flop. You're gonna round through the shoulders, round through the spine, tuck your chin in for the cat variety. Inhale for cow. And exhale for cat. Do a couple more here. Inhale for cow. And exhale for cat. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze. And exhale around through the spine. One more round. Inhale, drop the belly, look up. And exhale, round through the spine. Great job. All right, now we're gonna move on to our first true yoga posture, and this is the downward dog. So the downward dog is kind of a resting posture in yoga, and we're gonna use it as a transition pose for a lot of different postures in our practice. So we really wanna nail this one down today. So the best way to get into downward dog for beginners is meet me in high plank. We're gonna shift into it from here. So we're in our high plank position, and all you're gonna do, our hands are shoulder width apart, our feet are hip distance apart. And once we find this, all you've got to do is just push your hips up and back. So we're coming into a bit of a triangle pose here. I'm a little bit shorter, so I like to step forward just a little bit. I'm gonna have the hamstring flexibility to do that. But I'm gonna walk you through building your downward dog and making it work for you. So the first thing we wanna look at is that our arms are straight and our shoulders are in line with our spine. So we're tucking our head in between our elbows. And the next thing I want to look at is our spine alignment. So go ahead and bend your knees generously because you want to get it to where your tailbone is almost being pulled up to the ceiling. Like you have a string on the edge of your spine, it's pulling you up. You want a really, really straight spine. A lot of people will begin their downward dogs and they'll straighten their legs and round their spine, but we want to do the opposite. We want to bend our knees and straighten our spine and push it up here. And just take a few deep breaths. Strong through the fingers, strong through the feet. Creating a bit of tension will help you stay in this position. And as we get into this downward dog and warm up, you can take it for your dog for a little bit of a walk. So if you want to bend one knee and stretch the other, and then switch. Just warming up the hamstrings here. The downward dog is, in my opinion, one of the best postures in yoga for mobility because we're getting some flexibility through the shoulders. But we have to have a strong core and a strong spine, and we're warming up the hips and the hamstrings. So walking the dog, pushing down through our shoulders, lifting through our spine. A lot to think about here. And just take 2 more rounds of really deep breaths, finding the downward dog that works for you. Keeping your knees bent as much as you have to. And every downward dog we do will get a little bit easier. All right, those look great. So we're gonna lift our gaze up so we're looking at our fingertips. And the best that you can, you wanna take a big step up to where our feet meet our hands and meet me in a forward fold position. So our feet are still hips distance apart. Our knees can have a generous bend because what we want to focus on here is getting our tailbone up and our head down. So if your legs are straight and your spine's rounded, we want to reverse that. Same thing in downward dog. Bend the knees, straighten out the spine. A great analogy that I love to use in a forward fold to make it work for you is you want to picture your pelvis kind of like a bowl. And when you do a forward fold, you want to dump the water out of this bowl. So we're going to slowly roll up here, and then I'll walk you through it again. So slowly roll up, taking it slow, 1 vertebrae at a time. Come to a nice, tall, standing position. All right, so we're going to come into our forward fold again. And as you move the body forward, we want to focus on taking our hips and dumping them forward. So for me, that feels like a little small arch in the lower part of my spine. But this gives you the best stretch in your hamstrings. It takes the pressure off your lower back. It makes this a really comfortable posture. So we'll do that. Big inhale, stretch your arms overhead. And on the exhale, swan dive down to your forward fold, bending in our legs, dumping the water out of our hips. And bring your hands to the floor, maybe the tops of the feet or the shins, whatever is most comfortable for you. And in this forward fold, we're still warming up the hamstrings. So you can go ahead and bend your knees back and forth a little bit, whatever intuitive movements that you need to make this comfortable. Now we're going to reverse that movement. So if you can, we want to plant our hands down on the ground. But if you can't, however best you can, meet me down in a high plank. We're going to practice getting into our downward dog position from here. So we're going to do a couple rounds of high plank to downward dog. So really strong core in this plank position. Take a big breath in. On the exhale, shift your hips back for downward dog. Focusing on the alignment cues I gave earlier. So strong through the fingertips, tucking your head in, really lifting out of the shoulders, pulling the tailbone towards the ceiling, bending through the knees. We're not going to hang out long. We're going to go ahead and shift our hips back into high plank. And hips back to downward dog. And shifting forward to high plank again. And hips up and back for downward dog. So really just getting a feel for the movement here. A couple more rounds of this. So shifting hips forward for high plank. And downward dog. Give me one more really strong downward dog. So meeting in high plank and moving hips up and back. Great, so moving into high plank again, we're gonna use what's called a chaturanga to lower our chest down to the floor. And all that is a really fancy way of saying a yoga push-up, But the way to do this is to rock your weight forward on your toes and come down military style push-up, and then slowly lowering to the ground. So a really controlled way to get down. I'll show you one more time. So we're coming from high plank, rocking forward on our toes, taking the weight, and slowly lowering down, tucking the elbows in, and lowering down. We're gonna warm up the upper back here with a few cobras. So I wanna take our fingertips and plant them under our shoulders. And all we're gonna do is lift up halfway, squeezing through the shoulder blades, pushing through the floor, making sure we're strong in our feet as well. So pushing through our big toes, through the fingertips, squeezing the upper back, and lower. A couple more of those. So halfway lift into cobra position. Pinching those shoulder blades, getting a nice burn going, and relax. One more, inhale up. Great, lower down. Now we're gonna take it all the way up into upward dog. So same positioning on the fingertip. We're just straightening our arms all the way out for more of a stretch. Now, if you're feeling a really bad pinch in your lower back, that's okay. You can keep your arms bent still or walk your fingertips out a little bit. You want to add some twist here if you want, just warming up the spine some more. And what's next? You guessed it. We're going to make our way into downward dog from upward dog. So tucking the toes and lifting the hips up and back. Nice job. Now we're going to move into some lunge variations. So we're going to start on the right side first. We're going to take our right foot and we're going to place it in between our hands. So one big step forward and placing our hands in between the fingertips. A really good way to think about doing this, it can be a little bit tricky at first, is to pick your hip up and act like you're almost stepping over something in the middle of your mat. So really get some height in the foot, and then you're able to place it in between your fingertips. But if it gets stuck somewhere back here, just grab it and pull it forward. So now we're in our high lunge position. We're going to squeeze our core, squeeze our legs, find some balance, and lift our chest up to a high runner's lunge. So we want to keep sinking into this hip, the right side, and being really active on our left side. So we don't want this knee to be bent. We want it to be straight, pushing through the heel, staying on the ball of our foot. This is a really active posture. Excuse me. Let's go ahead and inhale, arms up high, sinking low into this lunge, warming up the lower body. And you can add some cactus arms if you want. So bringing your arms in a cactus position and stretching out the chest as well here. Inhale, arms up. And exhale, cactus for a nice chest stretch. Sink lower in that runner's lunge. And one more. Tight core, inhale, arms up. And exhale, cactus arms. All right, so bring your arms up one more time. We're gonna cycle back down, so plant both hands on the ground. Plant your left one really strong, and we're gonna take the right arm and open it up to the right side, so for a little mild spinal twist. Holding here for a few breaths, still really strong through that back leg. Great. So you can come out of the twist, and go ahead and drop the back knee for our low runner's lunge. So just a basic stretch here. So we're pushing through our hips, pushing them forward, sinking down, getting a nice stretch in the front of your left hip, but also in the outside of your right hip. So you can bring your chest up here, or if staying down feels better for you, either way. And go ahead and rock it back for a hamstring stretch, flexing this front foot and folding over that front leg. We're gonna rock it forward again, and then we're gonna tuck the back toes on the left side and lift up for that runner's lunge again, and bring it back to downward dog. So plant your hands really strong, and just meet me back down in downward dog. Go ahead and shake it out on this side. You can give your dog a little bit more of a walk. Find some relaxation in downward dog. And we're gonna repeat on the left side. So once you find your downward dog again, make it nice and strong. Shift your weight to the right side, lift the left leg up, and swoop it through for a runner's lunge on the left-hand side. All right, so once you find your runner's lunge, you can go ahead and inhale up for high runner's lunge. So once again, we're deep in the right and the left side of the hip, excuse me. So deep in the left side, and the back leg is straight. So we have active toes, we're pushing through the heel. We don't want this bent leg. We really want that to be nice and straight. So we're still getting the stretch on the right side while we're getting the muscle build on the left side. So go ahead and inhale your arms up high. And exhale for cactus arms again, opening up the chest. Inhale, arms up. And exhale, cactus arms. Staying really tight through the core as well. And one more time, inhale, arms up. And exhale, cactus arms. All right. One more big breath in high runner's lunge, sinking low, getting a nice stretch on the right side. Great, and then go and bring it down. Both hands down to the mat for our spinal twist on this side. So plant the right arm and lift the left arm up. Still staying strong in this position. Just a few breaths here. Nice, so coming out of the stretch here and drop the back knee for low runner's lunge. Again, I like to come up and put some more pressure on the right hip, but if you like to stay with your fingertips on the mat, whatever feels best for you. Go ahead and rock it back for a hamstring stretch, pulling these toes towards you, nice and flexed, and just sinking over the front leg. All right, nice. So rock it forward. We're gonna meet back in downward dog. Tuck the back leg, bring your knee off the ground, plant your hands, and then there we go. So we're gonna do a couple of exercises to practice moving from downward dog to lunge. That's a great functional movement to have. So we really want to perfect that skill. So we're gonna do a little bit of core work. We'll start on the right side. So make your left foot nice and strong. Find some good grip on the ground. Shift your weight over onto the left side. Excuse me, got my mic all twisted. So all we're gonna do is we're gonna move from three-legged dog, which is really just a downward dog on one leg. So keeping this knee bent, and we're gonna shift our weight into low plank, bringing knee to chin, knee to forehead in that direction as best you can. And then exhale, shoot it back out. So that's one. And bring your knee in, knee to forehead. Shoot it back out. And knee to forehead. So you really want to squeeze at the top there. Move it on in one more time. Knee to forehead. Lifting up, getting some height off the ground. Back to three-legged dog, and I lied, one more. I want to make it an even 5. Lift, squeeze, hold it. 3, 2, 1, and back to downward dog. So really what this movement is doing is it's practicing hip compression. So we're moving in such a way that we're compressing the hip flexor, creating muscles around that, but that can be kind of a sensitive area for some people. So we want to strengthen that. All right, again on the left side. So switching our weight to the right side, planting our right foot, making it nice and strong. Three-legged dog, and moving forward, knee to forehead. 1, Back to three-legged dog. And 2. Nice squeeze at the top. And 3. Shoot back to downward dog. 2 more. Downward dog. And last one, make it the best. Really nice squeeze on the end there. Bring your knee high. 1, 2, 3, and back to downward dog. All right, guys, this is our last downward dog of the practice. So we'll make it our best one, but just shake it out here. Maybe take your dog for a walk, push through the shoulders, really feel the stretch here. All right, great. You can go ahead and meet me in tabletop. All right, so now we're just beginning our cool down of the practice. We're gonna do one of my favorite upper body stretches called Thread the Needle. You've probably practiced this one before. We'll go ahead and start by planting our right hand in the middle underneath our chest. We're gonna inhale the left arm really high, opening up to the side as best you can, really pinching those shoulder blades at the top here. And on the exhale, we're gonna twist. We're gonna take this hand and we're gonna put it through this pocket that we've created. So keep twisting down until your shoulder, your left shoulder. Now you can do a few things from here. All right, great. So I plant in by your face and just pushing up, taking the weight off your left arm and coming back to tabletop. And we're gonna repeat the same thing on the left-hand side. So this time, left hand goes in the center of your mat under your shoulders, and we're gonna inhale up to the right side. Nice big open stretch. And exhale, shoot it through this little pocket that we've made. Coming down to rest on the ground. Again, you have a couple options here. My hair looks crazy. You can leave your hand here, or you can reach your fingertips up, which is what I like to do, then open up through the chest. And take a few deep breaths here. Want to focus on lowering the heart rate if maybe it got a little bit high during some of our other postures. All right, great. And go ahead and come out of this one as well. Placing your hand here, lifting up off the mat. And last posture on our knees, we're gonna come into child's pose. So we're gonna bring our toes to touch, spread our knees out so they're the width of our mat, or if you're not using a mat, a little bit wider than shoulder distance. And go ahead and sink the hips back to where our bum is touching our heels. And just walk your hands forward, melt the chest, and just one step farther. Your elbow. and swing your legs around and meet me on your back. You can go ahead and lean all the way back. We're going to do a couple of spinal twists to relax the spine before our final resting pose. So stretch the left leg out. Bring your right knee up to your chest. And we're just going to take our left hand to right knee and slowly pull it across the body. You want your right arm to be on the ground, and only pull over until you start to feel your right shoulder lift off the mat. Once your right shoulder comes off a little bit, backtrack your rotation. So that way our both shoulders are staying on the mat and we're just pulling that knee over until that point. What this does is it releases the lower back. If you were to take the shoulder with you, you're kind of reducing the amount of rotation you get. And every exhale, maybe you're twisting it just a little bit more. Go ahead and come out of that twist. Switch legs. Shoot the right one out. Bring your left knee up to your chest a little bit. Left arm out to the side. And gently rolling on over the right way. So you get a nice spinal twist. And just remember to keep that left shoulder firmly planted on the mat. Go ahead and unwind. A seasoned yogi, now is the time to go ahead and take any more postures that you're interested in. I'm going to lead you guys to our final posture. This is called Shavasana, or corpse pose. You're just going to shoot both legs out, just lay flat on your back. Let your toes kind of splay out to the sides. Arms away from your body just a little bit. I like to tuck my shoulder blades in. Close your eyes and just relax. So this is corpse pose, and this is just a place at the end of every yoga practice to kind of relax, let all the work you just did in your body kind of settle. A great place if you want to take it in more of a mental health direction. I love to set an intention for the day or practice a little bit of gratitude, but it's just a great place to relax, let those endorphins run around your body for a few minutes, and really set your mind straight. I guess well, you guys could use this posture to practice running plays in your head, but whatever works for you. Allowing your breath to return to normal and just relax. All right, and that's it. Thank you guys so much for joining in for the very first video. I've had a lot of fun putting this together so far. I just wanted to ask you one quick thing before you go. If you wouldn't mind going down to the comments section and leaving me a review. Did you like it? Was it too easy? Was it too hard? I've never taught yoga virtually before. I've only done it in real time, so I'm missing the element of seeing how you guys are doing and adjusting. So I would just love a little bit of feedback. Yeah, that's really all I have for you. I've also left my personal email in the description box. So if you guys have any questions, more in-depth questions that you don't feel comfortable leaving in the comments section, feel free to email me, and I will see you guys next week. Thank you.